I need to hear those too.
So
we just went live on my
that
screen.
great, exciting. Really? Just now?
Just showed live.
Oh boy.
10
we
seconds,
just missed
11 seconds.
all of our stories. Sorry, guys, you delayed. You missed some great stories.
What
but
happened?
The broadcast is just starting.
Do you have the same? Do you see the 21 seconds clock running?
Yeah.
Are you live?
Yeah, we're live
it's
now.
Live in the left. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe we should jump in and invite our guest in to join us. Start all fresh again. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's invite Frank Merola from William Raveis Mortgage to talk about what's going on in the mortgage these days. And here he is. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for having me on the broadcast.
Absolutely.
Great to be here. Yeah, so
what's going on?
a lot of things going on in the mortgage world. Most of it, like Joe was saying, is very, very positive. I can personally attest, this month alone, I've had about 6 or 7 successful closings, just due to the number of refinances that we've had in the pipeline. So I just want to, reassure everyone that mortgages are closing. It's business as usual. Our company and most mortgage companies are digital and paperless, so we don't necessarily have to meet borrowers face to face, and we can help them close their loan and purchase a home. So, things are changing on a daily basis, but we're all adapting to the new environment that we're in.
Anything going, different types of mortgages? Anything changing? We
are seeing some slight restrictions in the different loans that are being offered. We have a menu of different loans, probably about 100 different loan products that were available, say, a month or two ago. There are some lenders and investors that have stopped doing jumbo loans. Some of the FHA investors have upped their credit scores. So instead of maybe having 100 loans available like I had a month or two ago, we may only have 85 or 86, which is still, quite a bit. And we're just working through some of these challenges as, we adapt to the changing guidelines.
Can you talk to us about forbearance?
Yeah, forbearance, that's a great question. Forbearance is a very, very hot topic. You'll if you turn on the news, you'll see it on the news, you'll see it on Facebook. It's a very misunderstood topic as well. The important thing that I'm trying to stress to people is that forbearance is not forgiveness. A lot of people are hearing that I don't have to make a mortgage payment for 12 months. And the truth of the matter is it's very important for people to pay their mortgage if they can. And I understand that a lot of people are going through tough times, but the way that a forbearance works is if you're on a 4 or a 6 month forbearance program, at the end of that, the 4 or 6 months, you're responsible for making all of those payments that you didn't make in one lump sum. And that's going to be difficult for a lot of people to do. So it's important that you contact your servicer. And I know that that's difficult right now, just getting through on the phone.
Absolutely.
It's important that you get in writing what it is that they're going to do for you, because there could be implications to people's credit scores. And it's also important that you try to get that in writing. And I'm gonna publish out some really good information to our agents that I'm sure they'll share on social media from the CFPB and other avenues. But it's very important that people pay their mortgage as agreed. And if you are running into trouble, make sure that you contact your bank or your servicer or your lender to see what options you may have. This is different than 2008. In 2008, we had to bail out the auto industry. We had the market crashing with values.
Right.
And for people to get a forbearance or a modification, they had to prove hardship. Now you don't have to prove hardship. All you need to do is contact your servicer and say, I'm in trouble due to COVID-19, and you could be in this forbearance program. But the important thing is it's important to understand that it's not forgiveness. Those payments just don't disappear. Eventually you'll have to make them in some fashion.
Right. So deferment versus, are lenders doing deferment?
Deferment is different than the forbearance. Deferment may mean that the payments are put on the end of the mortgage, or it may mean when you come out of forbearance, then they'll take the payments that you didn't make and they'll spread them over the next 6 payments, which could make someone's mortgage payment higher. So again, I'm stressing to people to make sure that they understand exactly what is being offered to them if they do need some help, and get it in writing, and just try to do the best you can with, paying your mortgage on time for as long as you can. And eventually we'll come out of this as well.
That makes sense.
What are you
Yeah.
doing about people that are losing their jobs, and how's that affecting? What are you seeing on that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Joe. We are seeing some stricter guidance on the verifications of employment and the verifications of income. We are seeing self-employed borrowers will need to prove that their businesses are operating, whether they submit invoices or receipts that they're still, in operation. If someone is not working and they are laid off and they're not receiving an income, then obviously that loan would have a difficult time getting through, and those people, should pause. But we're seeing a lot of people like us work from home. A lot of people's income's not affected. Like I said, I've had several closings just this month only. And some of them were, people they weren't going to work, but they were still getting paid. And again, they all, knock on wood, they all closed, and we didn't have any issues where the loan didn't fund.
And the changes with appraisers, is that what's going on with that?
Yeah, to protect the health of the the homeowners, the realtors, and the appraisers, we're seeing some relaxed guidance on these appraisals. A lot of the appraisals will now be what's called a desktop review, or there'll be an exterior only, where the appraiser just drives by the house on the exterior, or some files get what's called a PIW, which is a property inspection waiver, where we don't need an appraisal at all. So this is changing as well. It's adapting, and it's changing daily. There's a matrix of which files are exterior only, which one are full appraisals. On a rehab type loan, the appraiser would have to go into the house, but in certain other types of loans, we're seeing relaxed guidance on the appraisals, which I think will be a good thing until we get past this.
Yeah, that's great. We
That's
just
great.
did an appraisal. An appraisal was done on Monday, and it was an antique home. They did an exterior only and didn't have to go into the property. And that was an FHA loan too.
Yeah, that's great news.
That's good news.
Yeah, it's all good news, the flexibility that's there. You mentioned, technology or the ability to work from home. That's one great thing I have to say about the brokerage we work for. We've had technology for how many years now at our fingertips that we can work from anywhere. The only challenge that we've had, and we've overcome it, is showing property, getting into property. But the technology is fantastic with everything that Raveis has to offer, I have to say, honestly.
Agreed.
What's the closing table look like now? It used to be when everybody would gather around, hugs, high fives.
No touchy. You don't even go into the building anymore.
Yeah. The sell side and the buy side do it on their own, and yeah, it's not the same.
So they're sitting down with their one attorney.
Yep.
Well,
Or signing power of attorney ahead of time and not even there.
Yeah. Or the attorney's in one room passing papers to the buyer or seller in the other room. So they're in individual cubicles, not even at the same table.
Right.
And agents are outside now.
And they're electronically filing at the registries, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so fortunately we have the technology that real estate has been continuing on, very similar to what we were doing, with a little bit more of isolation. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
It's true. I was talking to a client who purchased a home, I think it was 10 years ago, 2010. Yeah, 10 years ago. And back then, it was a home in Chatham. Back then, I had to take a video, stitch it together, upload it to YouTube, and share it from there. Now we can do it so much easier live, whether it's using Zoom or FaceTime or Messenger. There's so many ways we could connect and give a true walkthrough on the property, answering questions, pointing out the different parts of the house that have interest to them, show them out the window, the whole thing.
But the technology is there, and thank goodness for that. Wouldn't you agree?
So on the lending side, how long now, Frank, for if somebody wanted to put an offer in today, how long to closing?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joe. I can't speak for other companies, but I know with William Raveis Mortgage, our priority is the purchase loans. So the purchase loans have complete priority in underwriting. And after that come refinances. And then after that come, unlocked refinances. So if somebody is in a hurry to close, both seller, and buyer, we do have a 21-day clear to close program. That's if the buyer is well prepared and everyone's willing to move quickly. Normally, a time frame would be anywhere from 30, to 45 days on a conforming conventional loan, and most likely 45 days on a jumbo type loan. And every borrower is built differently. Some borrowers can move quickly, some not so much. But we do, we haven't been seeing huge delays on the closing end. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Again, this is changing daily, but right now everything's in good shape in terms of being able to close quickly and on time.
And so much relies on the attorneys being available and communicating too.
Yeah, I've had heard from some attorneys about some delays with them doing their title searches. If probate's involved, some of those offices are closed. So it's very important to get the attorneys, involved early in the process and have good attorneys that can kind of navigate through the choppy waters we're in.
For a buyer, what do you ask for? You mentioned doing a quick close, and I'm sure if somebody went in with a quick close these days, whether it's cash or whether it's a mortgage, that offer is going to be regarded higher than one that's going to take 45 days. So for a buyer to come through and to come to you, what is it they need to have up front to get to you?
I would say that they just need to be prepared with all their documents for underwriting. That would be things like their federal taxes, their pay stubs, their W-2s, asset statements, IRAs and brokerage statements. We want to have all that on hand. And luckily our company, we ask for that up front before we, send pre-approval. So it's important that there's also not a lot of concessions in the agreement or a repair addendum where an appraiser has to go back. So a nice clean offer on the home and a borrower that's built to turn things in quickly, like their financial documents, would be a successful recipe for a quick closing.
And with so much restriction on movement, how are they doing that? How are they getting everything to you?
Well, we've always been digital, and I have some millennial buyers that, like I said, sometimes I'll just I won't even talk to them on the phone. All they want to do is text. So everything with the mortgage can be done without me having to physically meet with them. So we have a secure online portal that they can upload all their paperwork. They can sign their interest rate lock form online. So they can do everything online, digitally. And it's done very, very quickly.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's been in place for a while?
Yeah, that's been in place for a while. And then we have a milestone tracker. So we keep the agents abreast of where the client stands, when the loan's been submitted into underwriting, when the appraisal's been ordered, when the appraisal's been cleared, when the loan is clear to close, and when the package has been, sent to the attorney. So it's great. The technology, like Linda was saying, the technology here is amazing. And all of the Raveis agents are all tied into that. So it makes it a nice, seamless process.
And it's great. And the other side, most people have the technology, not just us. Our buyers and sellers on the other side are equally responsible on doing meetings like this, on top of filling on forms online, which is terrific.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the spring market. I'm excited for things to sort of open back up again, and for us to be able to do the business that we're accustomed to doing. I mean, it's always good to take a break, and I hope everyone's staying healthy and safe. But I'm really excited for the spring and the summer market that'll be quickly upon us.
We hope so.
Well, we have buyers that are waiting for sellers. Well, then that's the other thing. Real estate continues to happen. We were talking about that earlier as far as a market snapshot of March right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Do you want me to share that?
Yeah. Frank, you can stay on board with us till the end here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Yeah, so come on in and jump in and share.
All righty, I'm gonna bring up from Cape and Islands Association of Realtors some of the numbers regarding.
Uh-oh, where'd everybody go? We lost Joe. Hold on, everybody. It's two of us here. Let's get Aaron back in. Do we have sound?
Yep,
Okay, so Joe took himself out, but he's coming back in right
he's
now.
backstage.
Here he is.
Not
There
sure
he
what
is.
happened.
That's not
Sharing
sure.
my screen,
We found
Domby.
you.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Fun. Fun never stops.
See if I can do this. I don't know why.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. It's coming in
You
now.
got that?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay,
So let's chat.
So this shows what has been selling, and you can see the last March was actually a very good closing month. We had a lot of property sold. This is Cape wide for all agents. You can see for the whole Cape, Barnstable County, and yeah, Barnstable County. So you can see we had a very strong March, and obviously that's due to the activity we had in February and January and February, which closed in March. The second column shows our pendings, which has lightened up the last 2 weeks quite a bit as far as what has gone under agreement. And many sellers do not want people in their homes for obvious reasons. So we've had several withdraw. A good chunk of people withdrew their property in the last 3 weeks of March. So almost 90 homes in there, top of head doing math real quick.
But
almost 100. So we've seen that, and then not many canceled, except that first week, the first week of 3/14 when it first started hitting us. Expires are about the same. So, and then what has been active, obviously the number of properties active has dropped, as well as the new listings are dropping. We did have, I know you just mentioned today how many properties went on. I think, how many came on today?
18 new listings.
18 new listings. So people are still wanting to sell.
yes.
And obviously the buyers are out there.
Well, I also believe with the 94 withdrawals that happened a couple of weeks ago, over the past couple of weeks, that those properties will likely come back on. Those sellers wanted to sell. So we're going to be seeing, I predict, that those properties will see them come back on in another month or so.
Absolutely. And I know many agents have listings that coming on. There's some coming on now, and there are others that are going to come on in a month or two when this thing ends.
Right.
So yeah, there will be plenty more listings coming on, and the buyers are out there.
Oh yes.
The days of getting in the car with the buyers is over, but they're coming down. They're going into the house one at a time. Only decision makers. We're limiting who can go in.
Yes.
So we don't want the whole family trudging through the house just to check it out to see what they're buying. It's really just the decision makers that can go in, which is important.
Do you find that first lookers, any of us first lookers, we're doing them virtually, and their second look is done in person to the property?
I haven't had any this week, but that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is happening. That is happening. And many agents have done pre-recorded video tours,
right,
attached them to their listings so that it's a true walkthrough tour.
Yeah.
So if somebody's that interested, it's almost a second showing when they come down and take a look.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I think with this life event market that I referred to earlier, it's people still need to buy and sell. And we're seeing that every day with our MLS properties coming on every day and closings happening still every day. And again, I took a year-over-year look at March, as I'd mentioned earlier. Last March, we were ahead of last March.
Yeah.
Until the health situation. So.
Yeah, it'll come back.
It will.
And the screen that's up now are the price points. showing the last 3 weeks of March into April. And typical under 500 is still very hot. Well, it's still the most active market. I know I was talking to Doug Campbell, who just joined us in the Yarmouth office, and he was working on a offer with a buyer that had multiple offers on it, and fortunately his client was the winning buyer. But they're under the 500. There's still a hot market, and that's due to, because we have the three different buyers here. We have investors, we have people that want a second home, retirement home, and then we have the people that need a primary residence.
Right.
So under that 500 has three sets of eyes on it. So it's very, very popular market. And then you can see the 500 to 700 to 750 is slower, and you can see days on market. Those are properties that have been on the market for quite a while, and that's typical in that market, as well as in the higher end, the 750 to $1 million, and then $1 million plus.
I just saw a property. I think one of our agents, I think Dave Bisbee, listed a property on Friday, went under agreement on Monday. And I think Aaron, you saw another one of our agents with a higher end. I'll call it.
It was Barbara Corcoran's. Yeah.
Exactly.
On Magnuson. Went under in 21 days, and it was a $800,000-$900,000 property. So that's good.
Those are all good stats, guys.
Yep.
Anything else we want to add to our soiree today?
Sure. I was just talking to Kim Christensen out of the Yarmouth office, and she had her first Zoom meeting to do a market analysis for somebody who's going to be listing their house. So the technology is really working well. She walked through their presentation, looked at the competitive market analysis, walked them right through it. They answered questions back and forth. It was as if she were in their living room. So it's really working out for everybody.
So technology will get everybody through this: buyers, sellers, investors, mortgage bankers.
And we're seeing having the Lower Cape and the 5 offices that I invite to our meetings, having Frank on there talking about the market, having Megan talking about the insurance market. We're getting better attendance than we've ever had. People are really tuned in to what's going on. They're not just all cocktail parties.
Well, we've been attending 2 office meetings
2 a week
now. It's great.
And everything's happening so quickly.
Yeah.
And then Tom Ferry, I don't know, did you guys catch Tom Ferry this morning?
Yes.
Yep.
Super motivational.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And tomorrow we have our insurance update with Frank Kolb.
Yeah.
To hear what's going on that, and Linda as well. Frank, will you be speaking on that?
I won't be speaking on that, but I'll be attending that one for sure. That's a great piece that they do every week.
Yeah, it's nice to have that connection with all sides of the market.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate too that banks are lending, mortgage companies are lending, regardless of what you hear in the media. The rates are fantastic. If you have good credit, good down payment, the rates are fantastic. Historically lower than we've seen them in a while. So the other thing people have is they have this great gift of equity. So if people do need to refinance, maybe take some money out of a property to pay for college, still a great option for for a lot of folks out there, as well as our Cape Cod residents that want to buy a second home or a primary residence.
Nick Atzelis.
Thanks, Nick.
I was just laughing at that too.
Nick is a great example of using technology and video. He has been doing updates for quite a while now, and I know it was a hard bite for him to get into it, but he's embraced it, and he does a great job, often from his car, hopefully not driving, but he does a great job of giving market updates, and he's got a great sense of humor as well.
Yes, he does.
And Chris Chalk, I saw Chris, I forget what Chris did recently.
Chris, what did you do?
I think it was a walkthrough that she did. that was really well done. She posted something, but some great videos coming out. People are working on them. Greg Murphy did a nice one on a walkthrough. Nancy Griffin's embracing it. So many agents are finally, really not finally, but really embracing the video that's been out there for quite a while, and now we have to do it.
It's all there, and sometimes all you have to use is one of these.
Absolutely.
The technology is there, and we're grateful for it. So, anything else we'd like to add before we?
We were talking about signing papers at a closing.
Yes.
And we have the technology not only for the closing, but all of our contracts and agreements are done through SkySlope.
Right.
And it is so easy. A few years ago, a couple years ago, I had an seller, and she lived in Shrewsbury. Her property's in Mashpee. We came to an agreement, and she says, "So when can you get to Shrewsbury?" I was like, "That's not happening." So we jumped on. We jumped on the signing. I sent it to her, 84-year-old woman. Walked through it once, and everything I sent to her again, she just boom, 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 boom. Super simple. It's excellent.
That's awesome.
So Chris just made a great comment here that Tom Ferry says, "This is our gun in this war. This is what we're fighting for."
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that.
Oh, I know what it was. Chris has a great AdWorks campaign going on. I was reading the newspaper. I think it was the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, and on top of it was an ad from Chris Chuck.
Awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic thing she's got going on.
It's great what we can do for our clients as well because of, all of this.
Technology.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure if it was just Chris or it was one of her listings. So that's great exposure.
Let's see if she pipes back in.
Yeah.
No, it is.
So it's great exposure for listings, as well as to get the agents seen.
Absolutely, guys. Well, I have to say, I really appreciate having Frank on today.
Thank you, Frank.
Helping us just navigate through the mortgage part, what's going on, what's different. You were going to touch on jumbo loans.
He did a little bit.
Okay.
No, he did it a little bit.
Yeah, so, a jumbo loan, not to be too technical, but a jumbo loan is a bigger than normal loan. Anything over $510,000 is a jumbo loan. So the jumbo lenders are still available. Our rates that I'm seeing on jumbo loans seem to be lower than other competitors, but it's always good to shop around. Although some investors have decided to pull out of the market, but I still have numerous lenders and investors to pick from if somebody needs to do, a jumbo type loan. So yeah.
That's great. That's all heading in the right direction here.
So Frank, somebody wants to buy a property. How soon should they be contacting you? What's the time frame when they should start talking to you?
I think more than ever, they should start the process quickly. And the reason why is some of the guidelines are changing in terms of, one day an investor or lender may say, this is the way that we'll do the loan. And then the next day they may say, we want reserves from the borrower, which means they want borrowers that have some backup, maybe an IRA or an investment account. So it's very important to start the process early, get your paperwork in, especially situations where people may have to sell something to buy something, or they may have to liquidate some assets in order to come up with their down payment. So I'm telling people to try to submit their paperwork to me as quickly as possible so we can go through it. We can run it through underwriting and make sure that if there are any of these changing guidelines that we can get through it.
That's great advice.
So bridge loans?
Yeah, bridge loans are very situation specific. So, a bridge loan may be a situation where we're tapping some equity from an existing property that they haven't sold and applying it to a new property that they're purchasing. We do have a couple different bridge loan type products, very situation specific. And, what I mean by that is the borrowers do have to be able to carry both properties at the same time until one sells. So I always like to be able to, take a look at those situations. What is the person's income? Are they looking to end up with a mortgage or have no mortgage? And then figure out the best loan product for those situations.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Great news.
The Swiss Army knife of mortgages, Frank.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Frank.
I think we're going to do a wrap. What do you say, guys?
That's good.
Sounds good.
Until next week, live at 5 next Thursday, right?
Sounds
Stay
good to me.
well.
Okay,
Stay
guys.
well. Be
Take care.
safe.
Take care of your family also. Bye.
Bye. Happy Passover. Happy Easter too.